Ladies, gentlemen, and wrestling fans alike, welcome to this week's iteration of the Squash Match Wrestling Raw Rundown. We're going to be going over everything that happened last night on Monday Night Raw, along with my very own hot takes, fantasy bookings, and just my personal opinions along the way as well. If you like content like this and you want more just like it, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. Now let's get right into it. Gunther kicked off the show last night in what was supposed to be an interview with Michael Cole, but Gunther kind of took the segment over for himself. The whole time, Gunther sounded frustrated and angry. He was saying that Jey Uso, pretty much everything he said last week, Jey was full of shit. He was still scared of Gunther, and there was no way that he was still going to win at WrestleMania. Gunther said that last week he was actually holding back on Jimmy Uso, which is kind of hard to believe. However, if this is the case, I fear for Jey Uso. This is the Gunther that I wish we got to see this entire feud on Monday Night Raw. Since the Royal Rumble, it feels like, sure, Jey and Gunther have been going back and forth, but nothing as brutal as what we saw last week. Next up was a match between Liv Morgan and Bayley ahead of their tag team championship match at WrestleMania. Overall, this match was pretty solid. I thought it was kind of crazy how we heard "Let's Go Liv" chants in Sacramento, pretty much right across the street from where Bayley's from. Bayley did end up winning this match, which I wasn't exactly a fan of. Liv Morgan and Raquel are champions going into WrestleMania. I think that they should treat them like them and give Liv Morgan this win. Especially because just a few weeks ago, Liv Morgan beat Jade Cargill, who is yet to be pinned in WWE. Bayley didn't exactly win cleanly, though, because Lyra Valkyria actually pulled one out of the Judgment Day playbook and gave Bayley the assist in this one. I pray to God that this leads for an actual feud for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Hopefully we get Liv Morgan versus Bayley at some point in the near future. Next up was a match between Rey Mysterio and Julius Creed of American Made. Early on in this match, both the LWO and American Made were kicked out by the referees. That being, of course, for just shenanigans that happen outside of the ring as the match is going on. Although Rey Mysterio did pick up the win, I am always super impressed with Julius Creed. Every time he steps into the ring, we see some new feat of strength that he gets. I mean, sure, Rey Mysterio's not the biggest guy, but he pulled him just from a squatted position on the ground and held him up over his head and walked up the steel stairs with him. I don't know, it was crazy. That and that crazy bump that he took when he dove into the steel pole and whacked his shoulder off of it full speed. I don't know, that was crazy to me. Either way, like I said, always impressed with Julius Creed, both his strength and his athleticism. And of course, Rey Mysterio too. After the match, El Grande Americano made his appearance, and he delivered a savage beatdown to the LWO. He took out all 4 of the LWO members and looked super strong heading into this match at WrestleMania. Next up was a singles match between Karrion Kross and AJ Styles. Now, this was Karrion Kross's first singles match on Raw since July of 2024. AJ Styles won, as expected. Like I said, we haven't seen Karrion Kross in months, years even on Monday Night Raw, especially heading into a WrestleMania match. We also haven't really seen too much of AJ Styles on TV lately, so it was good to give him a win heading into WrestleMania. After the match, Logan Paul came out, showed the entire crowd his very own hype promo video, whatever that was. It was kind of cool, but kind of unnecessary, I guess. Very Logan Paul-ish. Afterward, both he and Karrion Kross teamed up and beat down AJ Styles ahead of their Mania match. In terms of Logan Paul versus AJ Styles, I'm really looking forward to this match. I think it definitely has potential to steal the show on, I believe it's on Sunday this match is taking place. But what I'm really excited for is the future of Karrion Kross. He's been featured in backstage promos for literally since his last singles match on Raw. He's on TV pretty much every single week. And he has awesome mic skills. He's super intimidating. He looked really good in the ring. Hopefully this leads to some kind of push. Maybe a feud against AJ Styles. I could also see them going the direction of Karrion Kross versus Logan Paul, however. Because if you saw his Twitter video that he posted, he's saying that he needs AJ Styles to win this match pretty much for everybody in the locker room that have devoted their entire life to becoming professional wrestlers. Either way, super excited for the future of Karrion Kross. Next up, Jey Uso made his presence known to the audience. He came out and responded to what Gunther had to say earlier on in the night. He came down to the ring with that yeet energy that he's had in previous weeks. Not exactly his promo last week when he was addressing Gunther about the Jimmy attack, but, before that. We predicted on the podcast a week or two ago that maybe this was the death of the yeet gimmick, but it doesn't really look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. The gist of his promo was essentially just saying that now that the tables have kind of turned, Gunther is the one who seems to be afraid of Jey Uso. We're going to talk about our WrestleMania predictions on the podcast later this week, but I'll give you a little spoiler. I think Jey Uso's got this one in the bag. Next up was a match between Penta and Finn Balor. I gotta say, so far, Finn Balor has probably been Penta's most experienced opponent here in the WWE. I really did enjoy this match, and I mean, although it did end up in Judgment Day shenanigans, I could kind of see why they didn't make either of these two guys take a pin, especially right ahead of their match at WrestleMania. My favorite part was when Braun Breaker made his way down to the ring to get one back on the Judgment Day, because before this match, there was a segment backstage where the Judgment Day actually attacked Braun Breaker, but Braun Breaker came out to get his revenge, and my absolute favorite part is when Carlito made eye contact with Braun Breaker down the ramp and just turned around and rolled into the ring and just ran away. He was not taking another spear like he did last week. Although he tried his best to avoid a spear, both him and Dominic would end up getting speared at the same time. Braun Breaker has a crazier and crazier spear every single week. Afterward, Braun Breaker ended up attacking Penta as well. This time, however, Penta would get the upper hand. Going into this Fatal 4-Way match, all four of these competitors look kind of strong going into it, and I could easily make a case for pretty much any one of them winning this one. And finally, the main event of the show was a promo, once again, between Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins, this time involving the wise man, Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns called out Paul Heyman for betraying him, saying that nobody betrays the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. However, Paul didn't seem too remorseful. He tried to explain to Roman that he was simply paying back a favor, and he wasn't trying to, offend the tribal chief or anything. Let me tell you though, Roman wasn't having it. Next up, Seth Rollins made his way out to the ring, and he came out to explain pretty much why he himself needs to win this triple threat match at WrestleMania. He simply said that guys like Roman Reigns and guys like CM Punk aren't what's best for business, and instead it's a workhorse like Seth Rollins who needs to be the face of the company. Seth then shifted his attention towards Paul Heyman. He addressed both Roman and Paul, saying that favors aren't something that you have to do, but rather favors are a choice that you make. And essentially what Paul Heyman is doing is he's choosing CM Punk over Roman Reigns. Now the craziest part of this was that Roman agreed with Seth Rollins for once. Of course, afterward though, agreeing or disagreeing, he attacked Seth Rollins, threw him out of the ring, and then attacked Paul Heyman. Of course, seeing his best friend in the entire world triggered CM Punk to then come out and eventually make the save for Paul. He beat up Roman Reigns, but ended up taking a spear himself from the tribal chief. Seth then came back into the ring, did a little callback to both WrestleMania 40 and the initial Shield turn, hit Roman Reigns over the back with a chair, and delivered stomps to both Punk and Reigns, standing tall at the end of this segment. I'm really happy that Seth stood tall after this. Personally, I really want him to win this match. I don't know if he will, but if you want to hear my full prediction for the show, be sure to check out the podcast later on this week. Both me and Jet Li will be doing our WrestleMania special. We're giving all of our predictions for every single match coming up this weekend. And of course, for more weekly wrestling content just like this video right here, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.